Has this ever happened to you?
I want to fight boss monsters, but I'm an Iron Man with low-level gear,
Or, all these guides claiming to be for low-level accounts all start by telling me to equip gear worth millions of gold. What a bunch of If so, you've come to the right place. By following this guide, you too can challenge Scurrius the Rat King. He preys at night. He stalks at night. He's the giant rat that makes all the rules. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into. Now, because I'm a cool guy with a huge wiener, I play an Iron Man account, which means I can't just go and buy the best gear that I can afford. This means I'm often left with subpar gear relegated mostly to what I can buy in shops. I'm also what many would call a fucking idiot, which means if I can do it, so can you. And that is the Gooba guarantee. First, let's cover the basics. For this example, I'm going to use melee since it's the easiest in my opinion, but I will show ranged and magic setups later on. The account that I'm using has base 60 stats with 54 prayer, and it's plenty capable of dealing enough damage to our sewer-dwelling friend. My personal setup consists of a rune plate body, rune square shield, rune plate legs, rune gloves, steel boots, an Ardoon cape, a power amulet, a ring of dueling, a dragon scimitar and dragon dagger, and a helm of Nitiznot. All of this equipment is relatively easy if you do your quests. You have been doing your quests, right? Everyone knows that if you don't do your quests, your penis will fall off. As for my item setup, it's pretty straightforward. A dragon dagger for my spec switch, a prayer potion, though feel free to bring 2 or 3 if you're just starting out and learning to fight. Some food, in my case, butter and cheese baked potatoes, Varrock teleport runes for convenience, and 2 vials of super attack and super strength potions. This is more than what I usually take, but for the sake of demonstration, I'll pretend I was just lobotomized and take a bunch of shit that I don't need. Luckily for you, my brain is so smooth that a lobotomy wouldn't even affect me. Anyways, let's get on to the fight. Teleport to Varrock and run northeast to the manhole cover next to the castle gates. After wading through piss and shit water, you'll come to some bent and broken iron bars. This is the boss gate, and there's 2 ways of getting in. The first option will take you to the public fight, and the second will put you in a private instance. The public version has 3 times as much health and is stronger, but can be fought in groups. If you're an Iron Man, you can fight it in groups, but you won't get any of the loot, so it's about as pointless as the smithing skill cape. Private instance is the way to go. Before going in, you'll want to make sure that your run is turned on, your dragon dagger is equipped, and you've drank your potions. After that, hop through the gate, turn on protect from melee, and run towards the fucker to dump your special attack points into him. Now, Scurrius has 5 abilities, and upon entering the arena, he'll do 2 of them. 1 is basic melee attack. As long as protect from melee is on, it will not hit you. 2, he stomps the ground to make bricks fall from the ceiling. This move can be a real bitch because it hits up to 22 and hits through prayer. The only way to avoid it is to watch the circular shadows on the floor and keep in mind that when he casts the attack, it will always target the tile that you were standing on when it was cast. After bringing him down to 80% HP, he'll run to one of 3 piles of meat and cheese in the north, east, and south sides of the arena. As he does this, he'll heal himself but leave his back exposed, giving the conjoined rat twins on his back the chance to attack you. As he runs away, turn off your protect from melee and run up to him. Keep an eye on his animation since it's here where he uses his other 3 abilities. First, his blue electricity ball, which does magic damage. All you have to do here is make sure your protect from magic is on before it hits you, and it will splash for no damage. That's it. It's recommended that you flash the prayer on before the attack hits, and then off directly after the hit splat comes up. Doing this correctly will save your prayer points and your health points. This is what's known as prayer flicking. Second is the yellow stink ball, same as the last one, but use protect from missiles instead. It's also worth noting that activating and deactivating your prayers doesn't interrupt your attack cycle, so you're free to keep your mouse hovered over the prayer that you want to put on. As for his third move, he'll summon 6 level 46 giant rats to help him. These aren't normal rats as they don't give a fuck about your protect from melee prayer. It will constantly deal chip damage to you until you expose of them. It's recommended to deal with them as soon as possible, which isn't too hard considering they will always die in one hit. After Scurrius is done eating, he'll go back to only using melee and the falling brick attack. That is, until he decides to eat again. At the last third of his health bar, he'll run to the center of the arena and use all of his abilities except for his standard melee attack in rapid succession. This can get a bit hectic, so what I do is just focus on Scurrius and the falling brick attack and ignore the other rats attacking me. Switch between your prayers depending on the attack that he's using and only heal when necessary. Do this until he dies. Keep in mind that the giant rats don't die when Scurrius does, so after the big bitch fades away, turn on your protect from melee, get your loot, and get the fuck out of there. After the battle, run outside and use your ring of dueling to teleport to the Ferox enclave to use its pool of rejuvenation. This way you can restock quickly and get right back to the sewers to kill the rat bastard again and again to get his special drop, the Scurrius Spine. With this, you can make bone weapons, special weapons that do extra damage to rats. As a matter of fact, you can only do damage to rats with them because, well, using his own bones to create a weapon specifically designed only to do more damage exclusively to his entire species is the highest form of humiliation that I can imagine. If you get your spine, you'll hear this sound. With these equipped, not only will you add 10 to your max hit against Scurrius, but you'll also be able to kill the giant rats he summons with no attack delay. Just click on them and they die. This is especially useful when you remember that Scurrius has a 20% experience bonus and that you will always hit a 15 on the summoned rats. Alternatively, you can give spines to the dude hanging around outside the boss gate and he'll give you an antique lamp that gives 5,000 experience and a combat skill of your choosing. Except for prayer, which gives 3.5k for some stupid ass reason. On to my range setup, I have an Ava's Attractor, snakeskin bandana, green dragonhide body and chaps, rune gloves, a Dord Shun crossbow and bolts, and the rune square shield. If you can manage to get your hands on a few rune throwing axes, definitely get some to use their special attacks to take care of all the rats in one click. The only difference in this setup is to put your Eagle Eye Prayer on and start the fight by using the Dord Shun crossbow's special attack to drop Scurrius' defense as much as possible. For a magic setup, I use a split bark set, substituting the gloves for the usual rune gloves, an amulet of magic, and a prayer book. As usual, just use the highest level spell you can, or use the Iban Staff and Iban Blast spell if you have that. Unfortunately, that comes with the difficulty of having to go through chemotherapy from getting cancer after doing the underground fucking path. However, given how hard Chaos and Death Runes might be to come by for Iron Man accounts, I'd stick with melee or ranged. Moving on to drops, the average Scurrius kill is worth about 9.5k. Upon death, he will always drop big bones and some raw rat meat, but he drops rune equipment fairly regularly. After 50 kills, this is what my drop table looked like. With the average kill time of about 3 minutes, that's roughly 20 kills an hour for a profit of 190k an hour, but keep in mind that you'll be getting a lot of combat experience due to the bonus. So what have we learned today? The Rat King ain't shit, his minions ain't shit, and with this guide, you could flex on him by memorizing his attack patterns, prayer flicking his melee attack, and destroying him with a weapon made from his own bones. On my first attempt, I died 4 times, and now, I don't even need to bring supplies with me. Remember, women love a man who can play RuneScape efficiently. So go and get that bag, or whatever the kids say.